Anyway, it's interesting to consider.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will say though that I did find that conversation and sort of the ethics of consent,
Hmm.
which to be very interesting and informative for me because as a non-vegan but having vegan and vegetarian leanings at different points,
Hmm.
it was interesting for me to think about. I always thought of it in terms of binary animal, non-animal, and didn't really ever go deeper. And so when I started thinking about like the ethics of consent and stuff like that, I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Let
Actually,
me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it actually made it a lot more of an interesting personal question for my to ask myself
Hmm.
about how I'm running my own show. And so that's how you got those comments.
Hmm. But okay, so so you're making a distinction between you don't consider a human an animal.
Mm, I do I do consider humans animals.
Hmm.
But when we talked about like the consent that you can give if it's part of yourself,
Hmm.
that being implicitly vegan,
Hmm.
um, that's kind of where the differentiation happens for
Okay.
me.
Okay. Okay.
And I hadn't thought about that before, and so that's why I was like, that's cool because before that I would have just ruled it out because hey man, is it meat or not meat, or is it
Hmm.
from an animal or not animal, right?
Hmm.
Like that remove any animal bits,
Hmm.
or rather than think of it in animal non-animal terms, I would think of it in plant terms. Do you eat plants exclusively? Okay, you're vegan,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Which kind of removes the whole. It doesn't consider the whole ethics angle and
Right.
the
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a very yeah. The thought process never can come to a conclusion. I think. I mean,
Yeah,
you can just say this is where I'm going to stop thinking about it. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But like, it can really just kind of go on forever because you know, if we are to think that we are different from other animals in a lot of ways, obviously, like there's a lot of animal behavior that we don't engage in, you know,
mm, yeah.
and and then there's because I mean, do animals consent to one another? Like like do they um,
Right.
do you know? It's yeah, it's just really interesting when you think about it, like how how different we are, even though we're kind of the same or whatever, because we do have like these kind of power dynamics that are in a lot of ways very animalistic,
Yeah, yeah.
because if the the strongest person in the vicinity can kind of dominate, and everyone else will fall into line
Yep.
like animals would, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
But we don't necessarily like can we may think that this is how this isn't the way that it should be,
Right.
and maybe that it shouldn't be this way. Like, I wonder, is fairness only a human
Trait
concept?
or yeah, right.
Like,
I don't know. That's a good question. For example, if some mother, I don't know, mongoose, I don't know, random animal, first animal would come to my mind, is nursing like her, her four baby mongoosen.
mongoose, can you say
Mongoose.
that?
What's the plural of mongoose? Now, see, I should have just gone with like piglet or,
Okay.
cat or something. Anyway, it's a cat, right? And so she has like four babies and they're nursing and she's lying down, they're nursing. And then there's like the last one who is, is there a concern of will she be concerned as having the last guy come and get a latch
Mhm.
as well? Is that some?
Wait a minute. Start. I think I missed something. Say this again. When?
So if you have a mother cat, let's just say,
Mm-hmm.
and she has, five kittens or four kittens, and
Mm-hmm.
three of them are nursing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the fourth one is meandering, or he doesn't think he has a spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there a sense of, will she kind of nudge him to come over, or her to come over and get a latch
Mm-hmm.
on the nipple and get that nursing in as well,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of fairness? Like,
Mm-hmm.
three of my four are nursing and getting their nutrition, the
Mm-hmm.
last one isn't.
Mm-hmm.
To sort of ask your question about fairness in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I can picture her doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I don't know about the question of fairness. I know there's this so I have these outside of my house at the moment. I have a family of hummingbirds,
Mm-hmm.
and they build nests in the trees, like right outside the kitchen window.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same near that same tree, we have a hummingbird feeder during the winter, so
Mm-hmm.
that when there's lack of flowers in winter, the hummingbirds will come and they'll get their drink on.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely protect that feeder. They're
Mm-hmm.
territorial with that feeder, and
Mm-hmm.
so you have this little bird that's like this less smaller than the size of my fist,
Mm-hmm.
that's sitting on a branch like 30 feet away, and like has a clear line of sight to that to that hummingbird feeder, and is defending the territory.
Mm-hmm.
So
But defending
there's
it
no,
against other hummingbirds, or
yeah,
okay.
yeah, other hummingbirds. So her and her family. So she has a mate, and
Mm-hmm.
they they have signals and stuff like that,
Uh,
and they defend it. And so even though there's enough hummingbird nectar to last gazillion hummingbirds
mm-hmm.
all winter,
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely not a hummingbird feed inequality situation going on in my in my garden.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, is this happening only in the winter, or is it happening all year round?
I notice it more in the winter because they are because because they spend more time with it. I
Oh,
guess.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. In spring and summer, there's plenty of flowers, and there are occasional guests. But
Right.
like yesterday, I refilled one of the containers, and she flew within like a minute of me putting it out. She flew, the main matriarch, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
flew directly, sat on it, and had like a couple of nice long drinks,
Okay, okay,
and then flew away back to her perch.
okay,
So
okay, okay.
the line of sight.
So, so do you think that they're like less worried about defending it when there's a more of an abundance?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're. Yeah, I think that when the resource is scarce, then the idea of fairness goes bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know.
So then maybe then we could say maybe that um, fairness is a luxury.
Mm. Is a luxury for the haves,
Yeah. Or
or a
not
luxury in the
necessarily for the
top.
haves, because like obviously it's not the haves, it's the strongest, which is two
Right.
different things. And because of course, if another group of hummingbirds came over there and they were like strong enough to take it over, then they would, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so I don't know. Like, I wonder if, and I think like there's a, like with animals, I think they kind of understand the hierarchy of things. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
the strongest person has what they want, and then everybody else gets what's left over. You know what I mean? And like, and if you're stronger, if you're weaker than the strongest, but stronger than one of the weaker, then you might be doing better than you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is if this is a it's a dangerous thing to think about in terms of human beings.
Right. Right.